Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on again a 38-year-old from my old honey hole, Cardiff, Wales. His hockey journey has taken him to Wales, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Switzerland, Finland, Austria, Sweden, and wherever else our Cardiff Devils have taken him, and Team Great Britain in ball hockey. He is a winner and will do whatever it takes to win. And he's been doing it with the Devils since 92, winning it back to back. Then the British Super League in 97, and for fun as a player also had 2 Challenge Cups and a KO Cup. But since then, he's been running amok with whatever role the squad wants him in. Coach, director of hockey ops, red carpet roller outer guy, sponsor smoozer guy, pregame speech videographer, probably drove the Zamboni once. He will do anything to win, and as a coach, did just that with yours truly, taking down the Challenge Cup in 2015, and promptly got banned from a hotel in Sheffield for some reason. He's kept winning since turning the Devils into a dynasty, and he is now set to try and win another playoff title this weekend. Welcome back to the shed, Neil Francis.
Thank you, Wally. Still the best one in that 2015 Challenge Cup.
Right? It was so
That'll
fun,
take
eh?
beating. Amazing, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, and like that YouTube video they got out there that like you can relive it. Man, it still gets me all choked up seeing guys win, you know? I love seeing people win stuff. As long as I'm
Yeah.
not playing against them.
Yeah. My favorite bit of the winning video is when everyone's got the trophy and you got Carl with his fake thumb on.
What a
When he
bunch of
broke his
dandies
thumb,
we
he had
had
to get
that year though, eh? With some of the memories that could flood back when you bring up a name like Carl.
Yeah. Yeah. We had everybody no one else would sign.
Yeah, just a bunch of misfits that knew how to hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Oh man, there was a lot of hockey happened that year. A lot of fun stories. And we were in the big blue tent, right? Now you got the big fancy barn.
Yeah. Big Blue Tent was perfect for that team though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
He just completed the story.
There was no prima donnas on that team. Nobody was complaining when the water was ankle deep in the shower. So you're in the arena right now. The fellas are skating. My Cardiff Devils are skating right now.
Right now, yeah, in the arena. Guys just went on the ice for practice, so didn't practice in Cardiff today. Merd's got the gear up here, we got the bus, and then they're out there having a little whiz round. I think Guildford were on just before us, and Sheffield are on after us. So,
So you guys bust there today.
yep, we came up today at lunchtime.
I was curious just because, people get it in their heads like when you do one thing and you win, you do it again. I was curious when you guys book hotels, like when you go to Nottingham each season, if you won it the year before, do you try and get the same hotel? And if you didn't win, do you try and switch?
No, it's because it's a league event. The league books the hotels,
Oh, you
so
don't
they
choose.
they rent out like a big hotel, which is like a bit out of town. Um, and that's enough for 3 teams. So they normally bank on Sheffield and or Nottingham making the final four because they're so close that they don't stay here. But
Right.
this year Sheffield is staying over, so that's 3 teams. So we're actually in a different hotel to those other guys.
I, I wouldn't want to see the other teams in the hotel when I'm competing with them. I would want to see them on the
Yeah,
ice.
I'm all right. I think, when that option became available, I think, we were happy to take that one.
Well, that brings up the story. I have to tell you, Franny, I'm sure you've seen it, but my Kincardine Canucks are all Ontario champions. I'm wearing a red hat,
Yeah.
and I brings up is
Congratulations.
when we got to the hotel, the team we were playing the first round robin game was in the same hotel as us, and I got all competitive. Started hockeying the day before the game.
Got to get a lead, haven't you?
Yeah, but what a season we had, and it I don't know. Magical hockey seasons are like as fun as life gets, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I'm sure those guys now have got the memories of a lifetime now
Oh,
with their brothers they went into battle with all year.
well, not what the thing I love about it the most is like we win in Cardiff, and then everybody gets in planes and flies home, and it's like you can never see guys again. It's like some of those guys on the team I've never seen again. And with this team, it's like we won here, we won everything, and like my neighbor's right there, and his son was on the team. He coached with me, and I get to see these kids in the grocery store. I get to see them everywhere, and it's like we're not going anywhere. You know,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good summer, isn't it?
it is. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a team party. So you guys should go ahead and win this weekend, eh?
I like to, yeah, that's the idea.
And
It's
did you? We've
there's
talked about.
nothing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, just something amazing about winning that last game of the year. Even if you haven't won the league in that year. I remember one of our old captains, Ivan Matula. He messaged me a couple of years ago before they. Just gonna get the door here.
This is as
It's
real as
Merge.
life gets, folks. Hey,
This
say,
is
Birdie, get in the
live.
shed. Birds, where are you?
Merge isn't coming to the shed.
He's scared of me still. He even
Um,
gave me a wallet. Love that guy.
nice, yeah. You got a Lucky Foot leather wallet.
He
You got
even
some
put
advertising going on here,
Wally
Merge.
18 on it. It's back there. It's right up there with all my things.
Nice. Yeah, you got the
Any
collection going on there. Lucky Foot's getting a free ad
yeah.
on Wally's podcast
Tell
live.
tell him to get in the shed with me.
Lucky Foot 20.
Tell him to quit being such a punk.
Anyway,
Anyways,
I was
go ahead.
saying, yeah, the one of the old captains from the Devils from in the sort of late '90s, Ivan Matula,
I know the
Devils
name.
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he messaged me one year when we hadn't, I think we came second in the league, and he said, "Look, do you remember back in the day we lost the league and everybody is so sour about it, and the team that won it was so pumped, and then we beat them in the finals weekend, and because you win that last game of the season, we had the best summer ever, and they didn't, and it happened the reverse the year before that we'd won the league and not won that final game, and then you kind of end on a sour note and it ruins your summer. So that's the
Totally.
idea is to go in this weekend, get it
And
done, and
have a great
then
summer.
have a great summer.
I totally agree. It's a whole different way of looking at it, right? It's like when we won the Challenge Cup, man, we had time. But then we still had to play a whole bunch of hockey. And then you lose
Yeah,
the league in Sheffield and they raise the trophy in front of me. And it's like, oh man, I can't handle this stuff.
yeah,
And then I think we were tied with Belfast coming home in that 2-game showdown in the playoffs. And then they beat us in the big blue tent. And then all of a sudden our
yeah.
season's over and we don't go to playoff weekend. And man, it's a different feeling losing your last game of the year than winning it. Totally.
Yeah, it's a big anticlimax, isn't it?
Well, winning the league, you do it, and then you still got a lot of hockey to play. And it's like, man, you guys could really piss off Sheffield if you pull her out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you have ever imagined in the world that how much I hated the Sheffield Steelers, and because they did win the league the 2 years I was there. They won the Challenge Cup, and a Shed fan had made a Shed Boost flag, and Sheffield Steelers took a picture with a Shed Boost flag after winning the Challenge Cup. That's
I
weird, eh?
know. Yeah. Well, your red is turning a little bit of a shade of orange, but hey,
No,
you've got to
no,
appeal to a
I'm
wide
red.
audience. We understand. I know. You're red.
I was just having
Red's
fun talking to guys I know and like that I like, right? And like I knew
yeah.
Danzy from Herning, Denmark, that was throwing Twix for
Yep.
Mac, and it's like, I don't know, it's just this big spider web of hockey guys, right?
Yeah. And to be fair to that team, they've had a hell of a year too. I
They
mean,
they really have.
that's some accomplishment that they had. Even when we went 10 games straight or 12 games straight or whatever it was, 12 games, we didn't gain 1 point on them, which is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
that's the other hard part. It's a totally different way of hockey, and you guys do it over there with the league being the big title, because you can win 10 games in a row and you're not catching up. It's like, I want to play you like, I want to play your team. Let's play a series and see who wins, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what people always say about our playoffs is it's so short. And some people say, well, it's the easiest playoffs to win because it's so short. But then that also makes it the hardest playoffs to win as well, because there's no room for error whatsoever. If you're playing the series and you suck one night and you get blown out, then you come back the next night, you can even it up. I mean, in this format, you can have, and we've seen it before, teams have one bad period in the
And it's
first
done.
leg of that quarter final and they're out. That's it, one bad period. It's that unforgiving. So
Well, like
Yeah,
realistically
it's a
though,
short number of games.
we talked about this though in the summer that when I came over for Batchy's testimonial and me and you were, I remember talking. I'm like, you don't think people are going to be mad at me if I sponsor Manchester because like they're in the big blue tent and like they don't have the
That's it.
budget that we have in Cardiff now. And we talked about it, you're like, nah, people aren't going to be mad at you, but like that's kind of what happened to their team, right? They had really good season. They finished fourth with their budget
Yeah,
in their
yeah,
barn, and that's a good accomplishment for those boys. And I know they get put out in that first round, and I'm sure they're all pissed off. They're all upset because they wanted more and they thought more was going to happen. And I've been on those teams where you get put out first round and like everybody's just like, let's just get out of here. Like it's over. Like, and it's a different relationship you have as dudes than when you win a trophy, right?
yeah, definitely. And Manchester, yeah, like you said, had a great year. And in fact, I would say the last 6 weeks of the season, they were the form team in the league.
And they have
they were
one
on
bad
quite a
weekend and
run.
it's over.
Yeah, and not even a bad week. It was, probably one period out of that at home, and they end up losing 5-1. It's probably one period in that game that cost them, and then 5-1 down going into the away game. It's almost impossible there. So
Mhm.
that just shows how tough it is, and you just got to be on your game the whole, right the way through.
Well, people may think I'm crazy that I did that, but I was just having fun and they started throwing chocolate because of the shed and I just, jumped on board. But fun fact, folks, is I have had quite a few messages from Manchester Storm fans saying our team is out now. I'm cheering for your team. And I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. That's
Nice,
hockey. So there's Manchester folks coming this weekend with Kit Kats in their pockets for Mosey, right?
nice. That's good to hear. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Gotta say, I
hockey.
got a soft spot for Manchester too. That like you
I
say,
know
the
you
whole Big
do.
Blue Tent affinity. Finner is there, so he's one of my friends too, and I like their coach too, Matt Ginn. Um, I think I met him this time last year at the playoffs, and straight away knew he was.
A shed guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He's a shed guy.
I know. That's how I ended up getting in bed with them. They're all so nice to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened because I am a devil, folks. That's never changing, right? And
That's
that
it.
that
Yeah.
is how the shed exists, is because you guys brought me back for Wally night. And when I came home feeling like a failure and my whole career was a big failure, you guys brought me back and made me realize maybe I didn't suck that bad. And then I was like, man, I really missed being that guy. And then voila, we have a shed.
Wally Mark too.
Now I'm back in the game more than I ever was, and I like it more than I ever did, you know?
I knew Jess. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So, anywho, you guys are playing Belfast,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So I
I
mean,
know
both
Kiefer, he's a,
games.
he's a gamer, right? That guy's as
Yeah.
competitive as hockey guys get, and I think those are the guys that make good coaches. And they've been winning a lot of trophies the last few years, and he hasn't won anything. So I know he'll have his team ready to play. And I love those games when you're like, you're gonna bring your best, and we're gonna bring our best. Let's see, right?
Yeah, it's a really good matchup, and same with the other game where Guildford took apart Manchester, who, like we said, were the form team, so they're playing against Sheffield, the league champions. Us and Belfast finished second and third respectively. The games between the two teams have been tight all year. Right the way we played them in exhibition, and they were. I remember watching those games and going, these guys have been on the ice for a week, and this is the kind of level of quality game that they're putting together. This is exciting stuff. And the games that we had in the series were really good. Um, Pete, our coach, and Kiefer, Belfast coach, are really good friends and coach together on GB and stuff like that. So there's a few subplots there.
Yeah, there is.
Obviously, the rivalry that we've had the last few years, where it's been, our two teams going head to head for those trophies. They beat us here last year in the final, and we were up going into that third game. So there's a bit of revenge
I think I
there that we'd
watched
like to
that
take.
game.
So yeah,
That's how it back into like I really have a hard time watching the NHL, but I watched you guys play that final game against Belfast. And I remember texting with you about what I had seen in that game, and it's
yeah,
fun for me to still feel like part of the game, and I can watch you guys play for a trophy, and then me and you still see the same things, don't we?
yeah. I mean, there was in that game, we were in control. Belfast looked like they were on the ropes, and were ready to, for us to put the sword in. But then make a couple of errors on a couple of shifts, and that's the difference. Like that is what wins or loses you championships. And
I The
Yeah,
little
that
things
was
are
back
what
in.
wins championships, and when you get into those do or die games, you can't make mistakes, right?
Yep, that's it. You can't because the other team take advantage, and then the whole momentum swings in just that one shift.
Yeah, and man, that brings back like our final game for these Red Hats. It's like my boys didn't make any mistakes, but there there were like a couple fluky goals the other team got, and then all of a sudden we were in a hockey game, and then all of a sudden the other team had
Yeah,
the lead, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, we're better than them,
yeah,
and this is a one game
yeah,
showdown. And then the way the boys pulled her out and did whatever it takes, and it's like, Franny, I know who you are. You do whatever it takes to win, and I know all you care about is winning. And to see under 13 boys get that and like actually do whatever it takes for each other. And then, man, the video of them celebrating when they won and you see the passion and them all get together like we're brothers for life. It's like, oh my God.
yeah. It gets you. Yeah, that's character though. I mean, especially if they have the lead taken off them, and then to get it back, that's huge character they've shown there. So
Well, you know how much fun,
that's good.
Franny, I have playing hockey, right? You played with me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
practice, I would get them to tape my stick. And the last practice, this is what they came up with. They have two pucks taped to the knob, and then they got stuffed down the shaft. And then this is how I had to run practice with two pucks taped to the blade. And I tell you, I still went out there and made plays. No excuses. Play like a champion, right?
that's it. Oh, good stuff.
Oh man,
I like those boys. They sound fun.
it was so fun. Every practice, I would just throw the stick in the middle of the room and walk out, and then they'd come out with the most ridiculous tape job. We had a big tape budget. Sorry, parents, I didn't mean to. I was just having fun,
Yeah.
right?
It worked in the end.
So you guys got anything like hockey going on this season? Like, I know, we tried to hockey with like getting me naked and as different superheroes and doing pregame speeches. Is there any like funny storylines behind the scenes that like pregame speech? I've seen the pregame speeches on the documentary, so I know what's going on there, but is there any new
Yeah.
rituals that are neat?
Um, I mean, obviously nothing will beat the pre-game speeches that we had back then, and
I
the
don't think
game's
that'll never
changed a little
happen
bit.
again in hockey anywhere ever.
The game's changed a little bit, but yeah, that documentary, by the way, is I'm
Incredible.
glad you've seen that. It's really good, and Ollie Hampson, who pulls it together basically on his own. Um, it's such a great insight to what goes on behind the locker room. But I would just say, in terms of rituals, um, it's quite sort of customary for the players to hand out some kind of award, whether it's a belt or whatever. I think the last few years we've had uh,
The helmet.
like a Viking helmet. This year it changed to a coal miner's helmet because obviously Wales has got a big coal mining history. So there's like a miner, so somebody that digs deep for the team, blah blah blah. And then somewhere along the line, I think it was Mosey that brought it in, a big studded dog collar. So we have the player of the game, and then we get the dog of the game, which is a slightly different slant on it. Somebody that's gone into
So you
the
have two
dirty
players of the
areas, and
game. You have a player of the
yeah,
game, and then you have the
play
guy
the
that
game, and then the
actually
dog.
did what it took to win.
Yeah, and then they've got to do a bark after. They got to put the collar on, and then they get presented with put the collar on. They got to do their bark in front of the team. So
Well, that what Ollie Hampson's doing. When I saw the first episode, I had him into the shed because I was like, "Wow, um, it's incredible what he's doing." And the guys that he's filming right now, they probably don't appreciate it like they will when it's 9 years later and they're in their shed talking to all their friends and reliving stuff because they have no way to remember it unless they talk to their friends. They can go watch those episodes and it can bring them right back. But for me, I like watching it, but it also makes me sad because it's like I don't get to do that anymore. It's like I work all
yeah,
day and do a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like those guys just had to go there and have fun and then go eat lunch and take a nap, you know?
yeah, I know, I know.
What a
It's
joke.
no, you're right
Rookie
about it being
players.
captured. I mean, obviously, I played in an era where there wasn't as much social media or YouTube or stuff like that, so it didn't. There isn't as much footage. There's the odd game clip here and there. Sometimes, some of the old games are replayed on TV, and you can catch a little bit of it, but there's not much out there. And
No.
it'd be so good to look back on that, especially when you're that far removed from it. So yeah,
Well,
those guys got those memories on
forever.
film for life.
And well done, Ollie. You're running amok, as they'd say.
It is,
Yeah, I got a lot to say about everything, I guess, but what I better keep going. But whatever. um, but no, that documentary, like those guys will have that forever. But when we were in Cardiff, small world, folks, there was a guy over there doing his master's in like videography or whatever, and he made a documentary on the Cardiff Devils when we were in the big blue tent, and it's called The Story of the Cardiff Devils, A Long Way from Home. And if you Google that, folks, you'll find it. And it talks about how hockey was growing in Cardiff, how there was like a family feel, and you see me and Colby on the ice. You see all the fellas from the funnest year ever, other than this year I just had. But like that documentary, and if you listen to what he talks about, it's so true to see what happened in Cardiff with hockey from that season until now. Like you guys are like famous now over there.
yeah. That was really rough and ready back then, wasn't it? It was,
I didn't even know where
and then
Wales was when I started talking to you guys. I had to look it up on a map. I'm like, where's Wales?
yeah. And now they're all treated like princes, and yeah,
Bunch of
we're
coddled little
flying
punks, eh?
everywhere, and yeah, it's so nice now when we jump on a flight, we don't even have our gear with us. Merz has already taken it up on the van, and we're just jumping on there with just your hand luggage and getting off the other end. I mean, that's what we did in the quarterfinal. Um, well, we did it the week before against Glasgow, where we just flew up day of the game. It was an hour and 10 minutes, and we were there, and we did that for the quarterfinal against Dundee as well. We were 2.5 hours from airport because we stayed over at the airport the night before as well. So stayed over at the airport, jumped on a plane, and then bus to Dundee. Within 2.5 hours, we were there, ready to go.
You, I just memory just flooded back talking about plane rides to games. Me and you flew together, or we met at the airport or something right after Zoe was born. We had a triple header in Scotland, and
Yeah,
the team had left on the bus, and then me and you flew up the day of the game and got there
of the
like
game, yeah, because I was
in the
working the
we
day
got
that
there like
they.
the middle of warm-ups, right? Like the boys were going out for warm-up and like I was just walking in, right?
Yeah, cutting it fine, but yeah, I would have been working, and when the bus left, and you obviously needed to be at home, and then yeah, flight buddies.
Yeah, yeah, memories. Hockey memories are fun though. But well, I had something to say and I forget what it was now. Gosh darn it, eh? What are you gonna do?
Too many memories.
No, I just when I have you on so many times, I don't know what we've talked about before, you know? Anyways, when was the last time we talked?
Um, I don't think have I been on this season?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
I remember what I was gonna say though was when you're talking about that and like how big it's gotten in Cardiff, like the brand of the Devils, and you see how many fans you guys have, it's really gotten big, and it's amazing what Todd and Katrina and everybody at the Devils have done, yourself too. For me to see what it was when I was there, and then to go back for Wally night and see what it was then, and like now you see this documentary out there and you see like, man, the brand is growing, isn't it?
Yeah, for definite. I mean, we sold out every game this year, bar maybe two, like
Really?
right the way from pre-season all the way through to the end.
We didn't
It
even
was,
sell it. You remember the start at the big blue tent when I first got there? Like I
yeah,
remember the first exhibition game, there was a few like a lineup of fans to get in, and Todd was like asking their questions and like their what they want to see improved, because the
yeah,
start of the season we hardly had any fans there.
yeah. And then it grew, didn't it? Then
Mm,
word got out.
winning gets people
Boys were
talking,
back
doesn't
in
it?
town. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And
And
that's
it
what was
and
neat for me with
honestly,
this
from
Manchester team, right? Is I've been an underdog my whole life. I've always been the underdog. When I went to Cardiff, we were the underdogs. And
yep,
I thought it was neat to join an underdog team this year that was picked to finish dead last and finished fourth. And then they start chucking chocolate and they're winning all these home games. And then they're selling out games. And it's like, yeah, winning gets people talking. Winning makes a buzz, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you can see that in Manchester. They almost thrived on that underdog tag, and it was yeah.
It was
there are
us in
so many
2014,
different
15.
yeah, definite yeah.
Mm. Anywho, folks, I hope you guys understand why I sponsor them, and they had my back. That sharing is caring. They would share all the stuff I was doing. It was neat, right?
Yeah.
Anywho, um, my logo should be on the Goats jersey, though,
Yes, it should.
right?
Or maybe he's got Walton spray painted underneath him. You never know.
Well, and it's such a small world, right? I was cleaning the garage last night and I find this Sugar King stuff from in Junior B, and we beat the Goats' hometown in the finals, Thorold, Ontario, and he was watching because his brother was on the team, and then
No
for
way.
him to become my goat, it's just such a small world, isn't it?
Yeah, that's incredible. He was watching you
I
back
know.
then. Yeah.
Play against JJ. And then I go over for
Yep.
Wally night and JJ's there and I spray paint
He's there.
myself as his brother and I beat you for the Southern Cup. Sorry, JJ. Winning's fun. Sorry, JJ. Right? So I saw though our goat played his 500th game. That's quite a few. And
Yeah,
scored a hat trick in the same game. Still got
yeah,
it.
yeah. And it was a game when we had just finished in second place that nobody could take that away. So we were kind of stuck where we were stuck, still had quite a few games. And those are hard ones to play, aren't they? Because I
You,
guess,
you can be a little more
you know,
loosey goosey though, then, right?
yeah, and mentally, or subconsciously, maybe you're not as fired up for those. But Pete made a great point before the game. Look at what Joey Martin has done for this club. It's his 500th game. I think everybody needs to go out to play tonight. But it was the goat that took the team on his back again and popped three. Very
Um,
goat like that.
Well, and like to think about what that guy has done for your franchise is crazy. Think about how many people were number 88 around Wales because of Joey
Yep.
Martin, right?
Yep. Yeah. No, he has. I mean, yeah, we know what an incredible player he is and even better person. And we definitely lucked out in getting him in that bunch of misfits
Right?
at the 14-15 season. And yeah, just look what he's done for the club. It's incredible.
It's amazing. Like that was his first year and he's still there doing it. And I saw a curious question as a hockey guy. He had 24 goals this year and only 10 assists. Who's he playing
Yeah.
with? Because if you look at his stats, that's uncommon. He's going to score 24 goals, but he usually has a lot more assists. So who are his wingers? You ever
So
gonna
he's
put
got
me with him?
Coxon,
You ever gonna put me with him?
Coxon, Coxon Sanford are his wingers.
Really? And that
It
Sanford scored
yeah,
like way more goals and assists again too.
he's got 20. I think he was even this year, 29 and 29. And then Coxie is the disher on that line. So
Yes.
he's way more assists than he has goals. So you know what Joey is good at? He's good at what does
Everything.
the line need, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
So Sanford can score goals from a bit further out, and Coxey's a disher, so maybe he didn't have to make so many plays. So he became the net drive guy, and so many of Joey's goals are just kind of right out in front, which is not what you would kind of class
No.
for Joey, but
Because
he
when he
just
plays with
reads
Lordo, who's crashing and banging, and he's
exactly. He
he's
doesn't
the
do that.
he's
Yeah,
the
he doesn't
outside
need to do
guy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but no, this time Joey's like, well, somebody's got to go inside. May as well be me, and that's why a lot of those goals are just right out in front of the paint,
That's why he's the
because
goat.
he's gone to the net. Yep.
You do have to adjust with who you're playing with and what they do, right? And
Yeah.
I remember that season in 2014-15. It's amazing how everything all's worked out, but like my season turned around when you guys moved me down to the third line or whatever you want to call it with Matthew Myers.
With
And then all of a
Myers parking himself in front.
what and like if as a hockey player, the way I played is like depending who I'm playing with, I was either the passer or the shooter. But it's like I need a guy in front of the net. Either way, I need a guy in front of the net, and that's not me. And when Matthew Myers was so good at it and still is,
Yeah.
man, it changed my whole season.
Yeah. No, I mean he's
Somebody
one of the
has to
best
do
there,
it,
isn't he?
right? So I totally get
Yeah.
why Joey Martin is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was your winger? Was it Doug Clarkson? Was he the other winger?
He was there for a bit. We switched her around a bit. Yeah. The
Yeah.
we tinkered around the other lines other than Joe Marty. Lordo and Mo, because
And
obviously
no,
Lordo's
yeah,
going to put himself with the GOAT, right? Never give me a chance because we're
yeah,
both right
yeah,
wingers. What a joke,
yeah.
Lordo. But
Callaghan,
anyways,
Haddadi,
Matthew
and
Myers was everything I need, right? And then he's the guy
yeah,
that brings me back for his testimonial and like flies me
yeah,
over there and puts me in a
yeah,
hotel right by Chippy Lane. And I'm like, oh my
yeah.
God. And you turned my season around. We win the Challenge Cup together and you're bringing me back. What a guy.
What a guy. And you built a sick trophy, probably the best testimonial trophy ever.
And well, and like everybody that those testimonials are the coolest thing ever. And I see Ben Davis or Davies. How do you
Yep,
say it?
Dave. I'd say Davis,
Really? Spelt
but a lot of
Davies.
people, because it's an IES, yeah, I would say Davies. But I guess in Wales, that's just how you spell Davis.
Well, I see he's gonna have one, and I'm always curious how these guys decide. But Batchy, he got to shoot the puck, and we saw he was having
Yes.
right his kid. And man, it's so cool for me to see the puppies grow up. And like I see that documentary, and like Bouncy and Batchy have kids now, and I'm like, oh my God, I was the only guy on the team with a kid.
You were, yeah. Yeah.
But then you go to
Yeah.
Mosey's testimonial. So that we just played a game, right? And it was fun and it was all fun. But then Mosey wasn't even a devil anymore when I came over. And he had the Nottingham team, the two Devils teams, and Team Great Britain. And we played for a trophy. And I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good format, really good. Kept it interesting, didn't it?
Especially when we built the trophy when I got there. Because when I showed up
Yeah.
at his place and he had just got the boxes of jerseys delivered like a day before the game, they were all panicked and stressed out about everything, and they literally got the jersey like it's jerseys the day before. So we're looking at them and they're all cool, and I'm like, so we got four teams. I'm like, we need a trophy. Like one of my part-time jobs is building trophies, and they're fun to play for every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
It's
that
about
day did
winning trophies.
that day did change the shed. It changed how I thought of hockey. I was always just like I'm a devil. But
Yeah.
that's like all I could see was I'm just a devil. I hate the Steelers. I hate Manchester. I hate everybody. And then we went there that weekend, and man, what a hoot to meet a whole bunch of shed guys that played for other teams, right?
Yeah. In Heidi's, and yeah, the bathroom was the big recruiting ground for the shed, wasn't it?
It sure was. And then you're meeting like legends, right? Like Robert Dowd.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there, and Jono, and
Yeah.
that's where he
Yeah.
told us about how what an animal he is. But like
Yeah.
what Robert Dowd's done filling Twinkle Toes' shoes this season is pretty remarkable with all the other stuff they had to deal with, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dowdy's a class player, and it's always hard to step into a legend shoes, which Jonna is. Obviously, he was captain there for so long, but it was pretty seamless, and that I think speaks about the quality and the character of Dowdy.
Hmm. But that kind of changed my attitude that it's like, well, we're all shed guys. We just wear different jerseys. And like, I guess I don't have to hate you guys that much, right?
Yeah, and I think it's probably one of the best things about hockey, isn't it? That you can do that. You can be so competitive against guys and then meet them off the ice, and you know you got something in common. And more often than not, you hit it off, don't you?
You do. Hockey guys hit it off. Especially like it's weird. Like when I was playing hockey, and I'd have respect for the guy the way he played the game and he did things right. And then like it's like meeting Stefan Meyer years later, and I always respected playing him in Germany and the UK. And then you meet him, and you're like, yeah, you're exactly what I thought you were. Yeah.
And
So
it even helps more if they're friends of a good friend that you know they your friends normally have good friends, right?
it's a spider web. It's a
Yeah.
spider web of shed guys. So Mosey's doing well again, eh? And he's back with you.
Yeah, Moses has been like fantastic. I think there was a few eyebrows raised when we re-signed him. Obviously,
Why would
beating
that be?
Cardiff, he'd been
Because he
away.
left Sheffield to come back?
Yeah, just because he'd been away and he was getting older and stuff like that. But straight away, I think people realize, okay, I see exactly why he's come back. And he's played on the top line D the whole year,
And he
and it
should.
makes such a difference when he's in there. He kind of he holds that D unit together, and then obviously as injuries go through the year, then he pops up on as forward, and sometimes he'll kill penalties as a forward, sometimes as D, sometimes in the same game he'll do that, and it's just so versatile, but so useful to have. But his character as well, so I think everybody sees why Pete Russell wanted Mosey as part of the team and why he's kind of taken him everywhere he's gone, really. He took him to Germany, he's been a big part of the GB team. And yeah, he's been, one of our unsung heroes this year.
When you know what a guy can do for you as a coach and you know how you can use him, you'll take that guy anywhere. And
Yep.
it made perfect sense for him to come back because of
Yeah.
their GB. And it's like, as a coach, it's like some of these kids I've coached, it's like we had a couple horses that are going to go places, but like the way our other guys play hockey, like they can be role players on any team. It's like if you go try out for AAA and the coach needs to hear about something, it's like those guys could be on a third line in any league anywhere because they bring the intangibles and they bring what you need for a team. And I went back for one of the testimonials. I think it was when I had first met Mosey and he was with Sheffield. And we're sitting around in the Devils locker room, me, Todd, Pigsy, and we're just shooting the breeze. You might have been there too. Anyways, I remember someone saying, because I just met Mosey, he's playing for the Steelers. He'd scored an overtime goal against Mac, who's your goalie, and it's all such a
Yep.
strange world. And we were just talking about Mosey and how we got this chocolate going and whatever. And someone said, they're like, I think Evan Mosey is the best teammate I ever played with. And I was like, I do have good taste in men. Even if he was wearing orange back then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had to do what he had to do, but I'm glad we got him back now. I mean, he just makes such a big difference to, I think, any team that he's on.
And he's speed and yeah. Anyways, I hope everybody brings Kit Kats to Nottingham this weekend, right?
Yeah. Get your Kit Kats ready. Yep. You'll
And,
appreciate them.
and you still like peppermint arrows, right? Because that did happen.
I do. It did. It did. As soon as we called it out, it was there. Peppermint arrows.
Isn't
There's
it?
still the odd one.
Isn't
Still
it
the odd one
crazy
comes
though?
up.
Like for
Yeah.
people to see it from my eyes that we can talk in my shed, and then the next time you guys play, there's green peppermint arrows getting thrown on the ice, and you take a selfie with them, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, what is happening? It's
Yeah.
a
The shed
small
is
world, right?
powerful. Yep. Yep.
So are you on the bench still?
I am, yeah, yeah. So I went on start of January when Ewan King had a couple of health problems, so he had to take a couple of weeks away. So I went on the bench there, and then when he was okay to come back, he just carried on doing the video stuff. He's brilliant at that. Like honestly, he's an absolute horse when it comes to the video and the in-game tagging, and he he's worked with
I
Pete for a
could
long
never be
time,
that
and
guy. I could never be that guy. Never.
yeah, he just sees things. He knows what Pete wants, and he just puts it in exactly the right way that he wants it. So he can bring stuff down between periods and bang, bang, bang. It's right
You,
there
you
on
need
tap
those
for Pete.
guys
So
that are good
yeah,
at what they do and want to do it and know how to do it for the coach.
yeah,
It makes total sense.
yeah, and so he's carried on doing that. I mean, the start of the year, we were going to have an assistant coach as well as Ewan doing, who was the video coach and the goalie coach. But that didn't happen. I mean, it was probably a little bit late in the summer to recruit for that. So Ewan had been filling in anyway, doing an additional role, so three roles. So I think when the health issue happened and then I stepped in, it was just okay. Well, this is what Ewan was meant to be doing, so let's get him back into that kind of specialty position. And yeah, I've been rolling the D ever since.
You're rolling the DA.
Yep.
So you got Mosey and Crow, I believe he's
Crawford.
called, and he's a
Yep.
player,
Crow.
eh?
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is. Yeah.
Aren't they both
Yeah, he's
righties?
yeah, we've got a lot of righties. I think we've got five righties on our
They play together, right?
yeah, Mosey and Crow play together. And then you got Richie and Donaghy. They're both righties that play together. And then Bodie Wiles a righty and he plays with Josh Batch, who's our only lefty. Um,
You say Josh Batch
so
like I don't know who you're talking about.
okay, Batchy is our lefty. Yeah.
um, Batchy, I love you. And thank you for bringing me back last summer. It was like, when, like I said, when your career's over and you feel like you didn't do anything, and then when all your puppies do all these special things and then bring you back, it's like, huh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh,
he's
definitely. Yeah.
still on the GB roster, so obviously your head
Yeah.
coach is seeing something he likes there, right?
Yeah. No, Bachi's been great again, and stepped up at in big moments, and
He
Bachi's
always
big
did
and
though, right? Even
strong.
when
Yeah.
when when he was just a young punk when I played with him,
Yeah.
he would fight the biggest guys in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's yeah, I mean he again is somebody that Pete knows he can lean on in, situations, good penalty killer. But just because we've got quite a few offensive minded D-men, it's good to have somebody like that that's happy to give them the puck and
Yeah,
just kind of let them do their thing, you know?
absolutely. And Richie too, it was always that guy, right? For Hoth. Hoth
Yeah.
could go
Yeah.
roam around and Richie was always there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's why Richie and Fournier, they've always praised Richie when they won their Defenseman of the Year awards, and they always put it down to the fact that they had Richie playing alongside them. Just
Right?
let them do their thing.
Hoth and then Fournier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie was always the guy for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
Richie with now?
Yeah. Donaghy,
And
Cody Donaghy.
that's the guy that is a shed guy and
Yeah. He
doesn't
said he'll come. He said he'll come.
will he? Because he
He
doesn't
will.
write
Yeah.
back. He
I meant to
pretends he
update you.
doesn't see it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, you see me. I'm a devil. Get in my shed because all these fans keep writing to me and saying this is the nicest guy. He's this, he's that. And I'm like, okay, everybody's made it clear you're a shed guy, so get in the flipping shed, right?
Yeah. Donny's a beauty. He said he will come. He will come.
Yeah, he better because it sounds like he's doing everything right in Cardiff Wales, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so you're running the D, so you just roll them, or do you match in lines? Are you one of those match in line guys?
Well, I mean, we obviously there's three pairs of D and we run four lines mainly. So normally we roll the D, but then there's some guys that won't kill. And then obviously when the power play units go out, there's some of our D are on that, some aren't. So then you'll try and put a pair in a D out that haven't been on the power play, after it, just to kind of give people a breather. So, there's a few little tweaks, and then
I know how
obviously
it
if you go
goes.
down to five in a game,
Yeah.
um, got to get the rotation going. But I
Who's
mean,
this
they're all good. They all
River Rimshaw? Is he a
Yeah,
defenseman?
River Intros, he's one of our D-men as well. So he had, he had some injury problems in the year. So probably missed out on a good part of the season where those other pairings got established. So, he's probably going to miss out this weekend,
Right.
in favor of the six that I said.
Because the only small world thing, the reason I brought his name up was as soon as you signed at Rimshaw, I was like, that's a small world because his uncle, Steve Rimshaw, is a Western Michigan Bronco. And when I went
Oh,
there for my recruiting trip, he was one of the guys. And then when I first got there, like he was a pro player going to like an NHL camp and came and skated with us on his way there. And I still remember that. And then you signed a rim shot. I'm like, that can't be the same family. And it sure was because genes are a thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. His dad actually played over in the UK back when I was playing. So I played against his dad. So that just ages me, I think.
Hockey people make hockey people, right? So
Yeah.
my dream, rumor has it, I'm 0 for 3 in minor hockey coaching applications. I've gone to all Ontario's twice and won it once. And the girls' team I coached, we had a heck of a time. Never got to play for a trophy, but I bet you we would have won it. Anyways, apparently they're deciding tonight who's going to be the coach in this town next season. And I haven't started many seasons 0 and 4, and I don't plan on it this year. But if they do make me the coach, my dream is to take my whole team to Western Michigan to see an NCAA game for a weekend. And I have never really been back since I left there. And I think it would be like the neatest thing ever to take my under 13 boys to an NCAA game and just rock their world, you know?
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. That would
Wouldn't
be
it?
amazing. So, hey, yeah, all the best for that. I hope they finally see sense.
Well, you can only dream big, right? You just keep doing what you're doing. So who's taking
Yeah.
the net tomorrow? Bouncy?
Yeah, I think it'll be him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
because
gonna get myself out of this room here. I think the guys will be coming off the ice any second. Yeah,
only
he should be. He played the
46-minute
two
practice, eh? Are we almost out of time here?
day before. Oh, no, it's still going. Um, Yeah, he played the two semi-final games, so I'd fully expect him to go tomorrow too.
Yeah, and he has a
Okay.
924 save percentage. Look at this. There it is. There's the
Yeah.
barn.
Anyway,
Do you
right
remember
to the
what
end of practice.
you remember when I got to go to playoff weekend and I wasn't a hockey player?
Yes, I do.
And we talk about having a bad period and all of a sudden it can be over. I spray painted
Oh, and we did.
myself completely blue and got naked for the boys. Oh, he's gone. And I guess this has been another episode. Unless he's coming back, I better pause it for a second. I don't know. You're back. You were gone all of a
I'm
sudden.
back.
I was like, oh, is it over? But yeah, I spray painted myself blue, and I was a SWAT commander, and I had a Nerf gun. I was spray painted blue with SWAT on my chest, and then they went out there and laid an egg against Coventry, didn't they? I was so
Yeah.
pissed off, and I didn't even get to play.
Was that a 4-0 first period, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, we lost like 6-0 or 2, and I was like, this is embarrassing. And I spray painted myself blue for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what can happen in those games. It was
you either win or
we've
you
been
lose,
great
right?
all year too. Yeah.
Well, you guys should go out there and do this thing because I would love to see a picture of you with green peppermint arrows, and I want to see
Yeah.
it littered with Kit Kats for Mosey, because winning is fun, and he's a shed legend, and I really think this should happen. And if you have anything fun to throw for other shed guys on the Cardiff Devils, chuck it on the ice. The goat, Richie, Batchy, all the boys, right? Like I can't even list them all. Bouncy, Merds. If you got something cool, chuck it on the ice for them, right? People love fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And when I watch back videos of the years that we've won it, and just watch that moment where guys jump over the boards and then they're on the ice like that, embracing your teammates. That's what drives you on every year. You just want more and more of that. That stuff never gets old, does it?
Once you've won, it changes you. Like once you know what it takes, and it's like, yeah, like once you know, and for me, it's like growing up in hockey is like I knew what it was about when I was playing junior, and then I lost what it was about in NCAA because I wouldn't hold my teammates accountable enough. And then when you lose a couple times and you know what it could be like, and then when you finally win and you're like, I can't let my teammates slip anymore. It's like if you're not going to give it, we're not going to win because it takes everybody to win, and everybody needs to make the right play all over the ice, or you don't win, right?
Yeah, and it also takes guys to dig deep and like literally eliminate the pain barrier out. And when you say about NCAA, it just reminded me that Steve King, our
Oh,
owner, his son Carter King is in University of Denver. So we've got Ryan Barrow on our team, and that's how we ended up with Ryan Barrow because they played together on the NCAA championship team, and obviously Denver just did it again
I
this
know.
year. And Steve King's son played that final with a high ankle sprain, separated shoulder, and something else in his shoulder as well. Like he shouldn't have been anywhere near an ice rink, but it was the final game, so
You
he just got on with
do
it, won a
whatever, right?
championship.
Do
Yeah,
whatever it takes, or else you don't
yeah,
win. If you don't do whatever it takes, it was the same with my boys. We had a kid get
yeah,
folded right into the boards, and he wasn't
yeah,
he wasn't sure if he should play anymore because he wanted to be able to help. And he's like, I'm not sure if it's too much pain to like actually help. And then he went out, tested it out, and he's like, I'm gonna play. And then he's the guy that forces the turnover that we end up tying the game up because he's a gamer and he went out there and
yeah,
did it.
yeah. Just did it. Yeah, and that's what it takes. I mean, people don't see that behind the scenes, but when you win something after, there's guys. I mean, it's funny that guys always find the energy to celebrate, but then when they actually sit down, they are just absolutely done for.
Oh man, it's exhausting winning it. And that's actually what I said to my kids when we were going out for this final game because we had beat the team in the round robin pretty good. And like I said to them, I'm like, winning is the funnest thing in the world because it's not easy. And I'm like, if anybody could
Yeah.
do it, everybody would win. It will take whatever you have because they're going to bring their best and we better bring our best or we're not going to win. And I'm like, I know what we have in this room. I've seen you all season. And I know exactly the kids I have in this room. And I have no doubt you will go out there and do whatever it takes. And then they did. And I was like, oh my God, my heart is going to pop.
Yeah, because not everybody can do that. I mean, some people think they can, but when it comes to the moment, they don't. So
They
it
actually
takes special
can't,
people
right?
to win.
It's like when we were in
Yeah,
that bathroom and John was telling us about the kid on
yeah.
Sheffield that couldn't play because of a pinky finger. I don't think they have those guys this year, and you're going to have to play guys that are ready to play this year, right? And
Yeah,
you just got
yeah,
to beat Belfast first, right?
yeah. It's going to be a real battle. All the games are so, but that's what you want. If you're going to win a championship, you want it to be a battle. And you know,
You do.
all when we knew that we weren't going to win the league, um, we Sheffield in the final. That's what we want because Sheffield have been the best team this year.
You
Hands
want to
down,
play
they've
the
been the best
best.
team for the whole season. And some people might be, oh, imagine if Sheffield got knocked out by Fife in the quarterfinals or Guildford beat them or whatever. No, we won them. I mean, we've got to get past Belfast first. That's going to be a tough one, but we want to play Sheffield and beat them in the final. That's what we'd like.
I, I, I'm the same as you, Franny. That's why we get along so well. It was like all these parents were like, well, if in this round robin game and if that round robin game and if this happens and if that happens, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, put whoever is in front of us and let's go play. And whoever the best team is, I want to play you in the final and I'll bring my team and you bring your team and let's play. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So
And that's as hockey
it's
as it gets when you get to do it. And I sure hope you guys do. I hope there's Kit Kats all over the ice. I hope there's green peppermint arrows and whatever else because winning is forever. And if guys were throwing something on the ice after they won in Nottingham that was cool or fun, they would remember that forever, wouldn't they?
yeah, for definite. And if people are throwing things on the ice, that means we have one. So I really hope that happens over the weekend.
I agree. Well, I guess you better get with your boys and run your D tight and clean. And I have no doubt you will because you've done everything it takes to win for decades for the Cardiff Devils, and that is you are what? Shut your ears. You are like why the Devils are where they are. So is Todd. So is Katrina. So is the whole. It takes everybody to win, and you need good people running things, and that's what the Devils have always had, right?
No, thanks, Wally. I appreciate that. It's I
I
just
didn't think
feel
you heard me.
privileged to still be involved. No, I didn't. No, it's a privilege to still be involved and still, help out in some way. So, yeah, I just want to keep, another chance this weekend to win something. It's that stuff never gets old.
Oh, and folks, just so you know, if you ever wanted me to sponsor anybody else or get my logo anywhere else, there is a raffle at aleshockeytales.com because I actually haven't paid Finner all the money I told him I would. So there's a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jersey up for raffle at aleshockeytales.com. And that is to help me pay Manchester the final bill because the season's over and I still haven't even paid them all the money yet. And I'm sorry, Fenner. I'm gonna try and get you paid, but I did find out that my sponsor, the company's no longer around, so I've lost my jersey maker guy.
Oh no.
So it'll be tough to make more jerseys and have more raffles. So I'm sure hoping people buy tickets this time so I can make this happen.
Now
Uh,
it's a limited edition too,
right?
so
So if
people better
anybody
get their
wants
hands
to
on it.
help me out and make jerseys in the UK, and then we'll raffle them off, and who knows, maybe someday there'll be a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales logo on the Goats jersey, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
need jerseys to raffle off, right, folks?
So yeah. Right. Yeah. Get those tickets in, guys.
And so buy your tickets at aleshockeytales.com so I can finish paying my bill, please, because I haven't paid it yet. But go Devils, and I can't wait to see you guys pull it off. I know the people you have in your room. I know the guys you have, and I believe in them, and I believe in your coach. I believe in you running the D. I believe in Murray as the equipment manager, and it takes everybody to win. And I think you guys have everything you need to do this thing.
No, I thanks. You know, I see. I mean, that dressing room, it's got a lot of really good characters in it. Guys that have been there and done it before, guys that haven't but should, and you know, we'll take them to the next level. So, all year when we've been on it, when we've pulled our game together, when we've played the way that we are best playing, then you know we've been fantastic and we've beaten those big teams. So that's what we need this weekend. There's two more games like that, and hopefully another championship.
Oh man, it would warm my heart because winning is forever, and the guys that haven't tasted before should really taste it, right? So go Devils and go get them. And thank you for making the time because this just makes me so happy. It's like I play hockey for a while and then I feel like a failure, and it's like, but all my teammates and all these guys I played with will make time for me whenever they can. I'm like, I appreciate that so much.
That's because you're one of a kind, Wally.
No, I'm just me. But seriously, keep up the good work over there and go get them. Go Devils.
Thank, thank you.
And this has
Always
been
good to
another
chat.
episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with the Fran Man and Wally.